My name is Gertie Krüse. It used to be. And I was named after my grandmother. We lived in Cologne, Germany, on the Rhine River. That's where I learned how to row. And I would love it. And I learned to row too, and I liked it very much. He was a director of an insurance company. He had a very good job. And he would be picked up every morning and brought back every night in the chauffeured limousine. Yeah. And they took me sometimes when my daddy was late, getting ready to go to work. I'll say, well, you have time to take me to school. And then he'd take that beautiful Horse. It was an Ultra Union car, the top model, like the Cadillac is here. They take me to school, and I sit in the 6-passenger limousine go to school, and the chauffeur would get out and take me, open the door for me, and out comes little old me, you know. So that was fun. He was a very kind gentleman. And he was in World War I. And then he got sent, they quit the war there, and he came home. And I'll never forget when he came home, and that was wonderful to have him back home again. That was World War I. And then in World War II, they drafted him again. And he was quite old then, you know. But it didn't last very long, so he came back pretty soon. And I was glad he came back. And then the air raid started, you know, that's when the war started. And all the fun ceased to exist, you know. Every night you go, get up and go downstairs in the basement to sit there and wait till the all clear sounds. So the siren would, the siren would sound off first to make you go, get up, get your belongings and go downstairs into the cellar and wait till the bombing stopped, and then they sounded the all clear. And then we could go back up again. So that was a routine we had to go through quite often. It wasn't much fun. And one time we heard the awful sound of the bomb hitting the house, you know. And it only hit part of our apartment. It didn't destroy, we could still live there. We were on the 3rd floor, and the bomb hit on the side of the house and tore it in half. The guy that lived on the bottom floor lost his whole apartment. And we only lost a wall in the dining room. We had that one bomb that we felt was sitting, if this is the house, the bomb would fall right next to it and tore it in half like this. And we were down here in the basement, you know. Thank God we were in the basement. So that was during the war. And we had a lot of ration coupons, you know, that you get them legally, and then you can buy things with. And the black market was great, was doing very well, you know. My brother had his own insurance company, and he did very well. And he played piano very well. I had the same teacher and the same instructors, but I wasn't as good as he was. He was wonderful. Oh, I had a girlfriend that I used to go skiing with, and she called me one day and said, "What are you doing in the British zone?" Germany was divided in 4 zones, British and American, French and Russian. She said, "What are you doing in the British zone?" I said, "Well, that's where we live." And she said, "Well, I'm in the American zone and I can get you a job here. And it's a wonderful job, and the American zone is a great place to live." So she said, "Come and see me." And it was outside of Frankfurt in a resort town called Bad Kissingen. And she said, "If you come, let me know, and I'll get you an appointment with the major here and see what he can do for you." So I did go on the train, and I made it. And the Americans were very friendly, very easy to deal with. And I was secretary to this captain that he introduced me to. He said, "Well, this is Gertie, and this is your new secretary." I mean, very casual, you know, just like Americans are. And I worked for him, and he said, I pointed out some things that he wrote that was wrong, was spelled wrong, and he said, "That's what I got you for. So you do it right, you do it correct." And it was fun, you know, it was a nice job. I enjoyed it for a while, and then I went back home to my parents. You know, I was still young, in my 20s, you know. So I met my husband right there while I was working. He said he was an officer, and all officers had to report to my office, which was a personnel office, and when they came to the base. And when they come and transferred to the base in Bad Kissingen, that's what the name of the resort town. They had, of course, I worked for the secretary. I was the secretary to the base commander that he, you know, it was in charge of all the people, all the officers that came to the United States, that came to Germany from the United States. And so I got to know all, you know, the things that Americans like and so forth. And that's where I met my husband. But we got married in Munich, and that was nice. We had a lot of friends there, Americans, and a lot of German girls married Americans at that time. So that was fun. When his time was up, he thought he would like to take me to the United States. And I thought, oh boy, this is great, you know. The United States was always the epitome of good life, you know. So, and I went home to my parents and said, I'm going to the United States. I remember coming to New York City one morning, early in the morning, and everything was just terribly dirty, and, and trash was everywhere in New York City then, and we didn't like that. So, but it's all right. And he came from Georgia, the state of Georgia in the United States, and that's where we lived for the first few years that we were together. I named my first child Diana, and she turned out to be an actress over here. And then I had Gloria, who is a very, very talented girl in a big department store. She always made her own way. She had good talent for working with people. Robert, he was very smart. He was very, very smart boy in school. Oh, Margaret was always making something. I said, no, Margaret, let's not make anything today, But she said she had to make something all the time. That was her nature. She would paint and create. She was very creative when she was young girl, and she kept it up. Pat, he was my next door neighbor. It was very simple. The main thing was the boating. We both liked boating, and so we had big houseboats. And I used to be able to drive it, that boat, and it was 24 feet. And it was fun. It was fun to do, and the kids liked it, and they would go behind the boat in a smaller boat and do water skiing. And that was fun for them. Oh, Nashville, that's where I had a good job. I was manager of a department, of a sportswear department at a beautiful, elegant store, and they made me head of that store, and head of the department, and I had to go to New York 4 times a year and buy for the store, which was a great job. I enjoyed that. Like I said, everything I've experienced over here in this country, it's been wonderful. It's really been great. So I have been very, very happy in this country. I'll be 93. Yeah, getting to be an old lady.